good to see you all again, and it's kind of funny, you guys looking like, oh my God, he's not going to talk about sex tonight. So I'm glad that you all decided to stay. First of all, I would like to get Paul, can you help me with this? Can you pass out a handout to everybody? Because I'm a big believer in takeaways. And since my cards did not get here on a timely basis, on the bottom, you have my contact information as well. Now, of course, you always can reach out to my buddy, Joe Pellegrino, and talk about whatever you need to do to get in contact with me. You know, this whole idea of this booklet came about, and I'm actually in the process of working on a couple others. You know, I'm a very practical guy. I'm not theory heavy. I don't like talking over people's heads. I want it that you get it, you understand, got it, can use it. That's it. Thank you, Paul. Did you get one for yourself?
Yes. Thank you.
Joe, do you need one? Okay. I'm going to get Mr. Pellegrino one. And Paul, now you can have one. All right. So when God gave me this idea, and believe me, it was all God, to put 21 tips together. And, you know, it takes 21 days to form a habit. So a tip a day, you know, some people have read the book in 2 minutes, whatever the case may be, but the tip a day is to get you to think. And it's basic things, because what happens when we go into negotiation, I don't care if it's for appliances to multi-million-dollar deals, especially over the last couple of years, we tend to forget some of the basics. I know how it is to be, you know, in sales, and it's the 28th of the month, and I'm $20,000 below quota, and it's 30 days that month, not 31. And I've got to make this up. Anyone ever been there before? I know I've been there. And I'm saying, oh my God, am I going to compromise myself? What am I going to do to make this up? So, you know, I want to ask a question, actually, just to get things going. When you hear the word negotiation, some of you are smiling at me already. What do you think of?
Manipulation.
Manipulation.
Getting a deal.
Getting a deal. All right, Joe, who else?
The value involved.
Value involved.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Does any of you start to think of rubbing your hands together? Yeah. What about you, sir?
What about finding a solution to a common problem?
There you go. Finding a solution to a common problem. One of my mentors always told me that, hey, if you help someone get everything that they need, you'll have everything that you want. Zig Ziglar, was it? That's correct. I know my mentor said, I believe it was Zig Ziglar. If you help people get everything that they need, you'll have everything that you want. You'll have everything that you want. And one thing about King Solomon, and I love about this, is the whole construction of the temple, how this guy did several things. And in your notes you have, I put like 7 different things. And when you go home, read 2 Chronicles. You can read almost any translation. The New Living Translation is very vivid on this. And I just want to go over a couple of these. Number 1, 1.1 in your notes. He provided leadership. And right next to it, I put the scripture. You can look at that later. Wealth of resources at his disposal as well. A lot of us don't realize that you have a wealth of resources for someone. The key is finding the right prospect that you can help meet that need, and you have the solution. Say, oh, it's easy. Solomon, he had, you know, all these riches. Of course he had a wealth of. No, there's someone out there that's looking for your services. It's a matter of finding that prospect. Also, great price and great quality. He didn't skimp on anything. He developed his own labor force and company. Here's a big one, though. He leveraged his network. He did. I love what Solomon did when he went to the king to talk about this building of the temple and the materials that he needed. He let him know in a nice way, hey, you know, remember King David? Well, I'm his offspring. And King David did X, Y, Z. So I'm just letting you know I'm his son. Not that you need to take care of me, but you just need to know who I am and where I come from. Same with you. Some of you have networks and connections that you don't use, but you need to probably align yourself and just say who you are associated with. It's just like being a believer. We're associated with God. That makes you different. Makes you different. Also, he hired the best in their field. And if you look in the scripture, the best craftsmen, the best, the people who knew what they were doing. And he also understood the skills of his team. Very important. So guess what happens? Being that he had all those things, and he did everything with excellence, integrity, quality, when it was time for him to make an agreement or an arrangement or close the deal with a client, he had lined them up from back here, and it was easy for him to simply get everything he needed because he laid everything out with quality, with excellence, with the truth. And I don't care what goes on economically out there, and I'm going to say this earlier, I'm going to get into it a little bit later, you have to always negotiate with an abundant mindset. Always. Always negotiate with an abundant mindset. I want to share 5 keys. There's 21. God gave me 5 to share with you tonight. I'm going to be obedient. I'm going to share those 5 with you. Okay? First one in your notes, I think in 2.0, it's a big one. Fear not. It's not deep. It's not theological. It's not Harvard MBA sounding. It's very simple. Fear not. 2.1, fear immobilizes and distracts you. It does. Here's what happens a lot of times. We enter a relationship with a prospect. We're full of zeal and zest about our business. So we're talking to them. We're having a meeting. So we're talking about all the value that we provide, all the services, and how it can meet their need. And then here it comes, that thing called the objection. Right? Oh, Sanford, this is 30% higher than what I'm paying. What? You deliver 30 days? I like to have my stuff delivered between 7 and 10. I don't know. And all of a sudden, fear tries to seep in. And all of a sudden, you forget the value that you bring to the table because of fear. There's an acronym for fear. False evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Usually most of the things that a person fears don't even come to pass. It really doesn't.
You could also substitute the E for emotion, because your emotions play on it.
Run rampant.
False emotions.
And here's what happens. You go and let's just say you just met with someone, and using the scenario I just gave, like, oh my gosh, I got to find delivery time. I got to deliver this in 7 to 10 days versus 30. And you got to go back and do a proposal, and you know you're supposed to call this person back by Thursday, and you're fearful, so you're like, I don't want to call him back. I don't want to do the proposal because what if he's upset because I can't do it in 7, 10 days? Well, what if he can do it in 30? What if you can give enough value that you can do that? Let me ask you, what happens, and I want someone to answer this, what happens when fear tries to seep in and try to seep into your negotiations? How do you handle that? I'd like to hear somebody talk about that. When fear comes in, when all of a sudden you're becoming fearful, because I know I'm not the only person that has gone through this. Okay?
Start giving away things.
Okay, okay. Yes, sir.
Well, when I go into it, I mean, I know there's going to be objections, so my attitude is just, you know, hey.
It's part of the game, right?
Everything's going as planned, because you know you're not going to walk in there and they're just going to say.
Sign on the dotted line.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah.
Right? And you'd probably be surprised if that did happen. Like, wait a minute here. Right?
Just expect that.
Great. Yes, sir.
If you preset and run through it in your mind and visualize 2 or 3 times before all the things that are get thrown at you, when they do get thrown at you, just like in the games, they're going to be playing these games this week. These guys are thinking of everything that can get thrown